A very good evening. It's Monday night, it's GT3 action, and welcome along to Season 8, Round 6 of the Tanso Racing Group in Clark St. James GT3 Championship that has moved from the middle of France to Mexico City. Yes, the brand new addition to the iRacing circuit layout now includes the Autódromo Hermanos Rodríguez, more commonly known as Mexico City. It's the full Grand Prix layout, which measures around about 4.3 kilometers. We're going to be 2,240 meters above sea level, and we're into the business end of this championship season. My name's Alex Goldschmidt. I'll be joined in the booth tonight here live on the JPB network here on YouTube, courtesy of James Parfitt. Now let's go through the scores on the doors, because last time out we've got a little bit of a tiebreaker situation, which may not last too long. First of all, let's head to the pro side of things with the points. Harry Hartley-Price and Sam Berry are now tied on points in the pros, 127 points apiece. Peter Duke on 118 points now rounds out the top three. Hayden Young and Tim Reed are tied for fourth equal on 103 points. Andy White on 101, Craig Corish on 99, George Reyes, Simon Nelthorpe and Wayne Douglas round out your top 10. We also have the same kind of situation in the AM category, because Scotty Kostrick and Harry Seven are on 144 points apiece as we're into the last 90 seconds of qualifying. Current defending AM champion James Moore is only 23 points behind them. Mark Wesley a further 2 points back down in fourth, and Joel Loudon rounds out the top five, all of which that have broken that 100-point mark so far this season. Sidri Johansson, Chris Haynes, Quinton Klumpert, Raymond Van Zutphen and Mark Ozier round out your top 10. With that in mind, let's head trackside into qualifying. Good evening, Mr. Parfitt.
Good evening, dear sir. How are you?
I'm very, very good. I know that you're doing your best. I mean, we're getting into that autumnal point of year, aren't we, here in the United Kingdom? But should be quite interesting with this new track here at Autódromo Hermanos Rodríguez. Hermanos is basically Spanish for brothers. It was renamed back in 1979 for Mexican racing drivers Ricardo and Pedro Rodriguez, who both at one point raced for Ferrari in Formula One. So quite a nice little new naming for this circuit. But first opened in 1959. It should be a bit of a test for them all, especially coming out of Pelotada, the final corner, and then going down into the first complex.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is going to be new for a lot of drivers. It was new for me. I even had to buy the circuit about 15 minutes before we went live, to be honest. But this is going to be very, very interesting indeed. I'm going to want to see how they get on. It could be one of them ones where it's going to be absolute chaos, or it could be great racing. So I'm hoping for the latter, as we've just got into warm up here as well. Sideway Games is in chat. Let's go, Mike. Full tilt for the win. And Welsh boy, good luck. Full tilt as well. So yeah, this could be an exciting one. Could be an interesting one. See how it gets on. This is my first time here. I've not commentated here before either. So yeah, we're going to find out what goes on and what happens, I think. Because I think a lot of drivers are going to be new here, to be honest.
Yeah, one of the big things I'm noticing here, though, JP, Peter Duke, not on the grid. So we have got our resident alien. Michael Gray is back. James Vardigans is back from illness, so good to see that. Michael Gray has already popped into chat and says, Merc is good around here. Well, no wonder you've chosen it, Mr. 127.
That's not what he said. Read that again.
Merc is poo around here.
Yeah.
You see, like I've literally, this is the first time I've been home in 11 days, folks, and it feels quite weird having the triples set up in front of me. Yeah. It's normally been on an iPad and a laptop.
Well, I think this is going to be one of these tracks that people are going to have to go and figure out. I think if they haven't figured it out by now, well, they're going to be in trouble as they come into the race. And I think this is going to be one of them circuits where I'm hoping some people have gone out and practiced, and I'm hoping that it does work out, and it is well. We're unfortunately where it's new into iRacing at the moment. I cannot give you a track map because we do not have one, but I'm hoping that we'll be able to know where they are on the racetrack. It should be an interesting one.
Now, Welsh Boy has come in with the comment about horsepower, that NAs will suffer. Turbocharged engines also suffer at high altitude. It's basically because there's a lack of air in the upper atmosphere. So it's going to be interesting to see how this is going to affect both naturally aspirated cars. Now, out of which we have Porsche, naturally aspirated. Mercedes, naturally aspirated. Lamborghini, naturally aspirated. I'm trying to think of what the Ford is. I think... I'm not sure, but I'm just going to check it now. I'm just wondering if it has... if it does have a... No, naturally aspirated for the Ford. 5.4 litre naturally aspirated V8. So, yeah, I mean, we've got cars with single turbos, we've got cars with twin turbos like the McLarens. But I think that the higher altitude, I mean, with 2,240 metres above sea level, so I'm going to be interested to see how that is going to affect everybody on the start-finish race.
I think this is going to be one of them where we're not going to really know how things get on until they start going along and in the race. I think that's the thing. We've got a 60 minutes race, of course. I hope some of them have been practicing pit entry and exit if they've never driven this circuit before. So I think, you know, they're going to have to try and figure that out as well. Hopefully, you know, they've done their entries and exits, because that's the main thing, of course, they've got to get to grips with. And there's a lot of things that could go wrong here, and one of them is, of course, if they haven't absolutely practiced anything. So, you know, find out how they get on, I think, with 1:10 to go.
I think coming out of the, you know, it's a short blast to start-finish line out of Pedaltada, and then down into the Mrs. Moises Solana, which is like the triple the triple chicane, a bit like Tamburello at Imola. You know, you just got to be very, very careful. But there's a lot of straight line speeds. You've got the S's at the second part of the circuit as well, which could test drivers. But we have seen a couple of drivers go more than doing a flippity-doo-dah when they've actually gone down the start-finish straight, and literally it's been yeeted into the shadow realm.
I think it's going to be a thing, you know. I think from a broadcasting point of view, we're definitely going to find out how optimized this racetrack is, because generally when they are released, that they are very, very processor heavy. So we're going to find out and see how they get on as well. I'm hoping some of these guys have got half decent machines where they're able to basically make sure that they've optimized the graphics as best they possibly can. And it's going to be interesting to see. There could be a couple of people who disconnect. There could be a couple of people who black screens on VR. There could be a bit of everything here tonight. So hold on to your hats, ladies and gentlemen, because it's going to be one of them nights, I think.
It is indeed. So, warm-up now completed here at Mexico City for round 6 out of 8. It's a 60-minute adventure. Here's your starting grid. George Reyes and Michael Gray, an all-alien-esque front row at the moment. Andy White and Sam Berry ran at row 2 ahead of Craig Corish and Hayden Young. Harry Hartley-Price and Baz Cutting. Baz, great to have you finally on the grid. Starts P8 ahead of Glenn Ablard, Quintin Clumpert, Scotty Kostrick, and Jeremy Jukic round out the top 12. Quintin Clumpert taking pole in AM for the first time this season. Then we got Tim Cullimore and Mark Wesley, Raymond Van Zutphen and Joel Loudon, Chris Haynes, James Moore, James Vardigans, Paul West, Sean Clark and Mark Ozier rounding out the grid. Mark not having set a time in qualifying. Harry England says, "Hi, James."
Hi, Harry. How are you? I apologise for my roughness this evening. I am nursing what I deem to be a family cold, and I say a family cold because my son is full of it at the moment, and I've got a funny feeling that it's giving it to the rest of us. So if I sound a bit rough, I do deeply apologise there as well.
Oh, Jared's already started everything. He started in chat. He said, Is that Batman?
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. Thank you very much, Jared.
So what we have got is the drivers going down the start-finish straight. So it looks like we might get actually. Does it look like we're going to get a full formation lap here?
It does look like it, yeah. I think that's the problem. I think we are going to get a full formation like Craig Jones. Oh, James, no one cares. Shut up, douche.
Wookie Wonder, you can shut up as well, I think.
Yeah, you always sound rough, JB. Thanks, mate. Much love to you, Wookie. So there we go. Mr. Welsh boy or Barry White. Well, it could be either. I don't know. I just sat here waiting, thinking, God, I should have brought the Lemsip with me.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Connor Pink says our resident race control. Looks like Mike Ogier is out. Is currently according to Pitwall. So yeah, well he's not showing on our live timing, but the Mustang pace car. Oh dearie, dearie me! Can we just leave James alone tonight, guys? He's suffering enough as it is.
Darth Vader. That's a bit harsh. I definitely ain't your father, Welsh boy.
Yeah, Darth Vader wouldn't sniffle.
Yeah, unfortunately. If you hear Alex talking for long periods of time, it generally means I'm sneezing in the background.
With your mic muted.
Yes. Very much so.
Well, Jared Love's got you back on that one. He said harsh on Vader.
Yeah, I think that's more the fact that comparing me and Darth Vader, actually, to be honest with you. Mainly as a compliment. Yeah, right. Of course you did. Yeah, we like Darth Vader. Craig Jones, shut up. Harry's going to get a Fanatec CSL DD bundle for Crimbo. Who have you got to stuck up for that, Harry? Is that the wife or the mother? Do you even have a wife? Is it a wife? Are you old enough to have a wife or girlfriend, Harry? I don't actually know how old you are. I could have just said wife and girlfriend. You're going to come back and tell me you're 14 or something, and then I will be in this.
Yeah, you'll be out of the frying pan and into the fire with both feet first.
Yeah, but that's, what do you expect?
That's you. Hey, that's you in a nutshell, mate. I mean,
exactly. Absolutely.
Right. Okay. Mustang pace car is pulling away. We're getting ready for 60 minutes at the Autódromo Hermanos Rodríguez here in Mexico. It's George Reyes and Michael Gray on the front row of the grid as the Ferrari has already bolted. And now we are about to go green. Red lights on the gantry. Round 6 here at Mexico City is at full velocity. We're green and underway. Run down the Recta Principal, the main straightaway. They're going to be pushing high speed, 3 wide. At around about, I think that's going to be Harry Hartley Price, Craig Corish et al. As Glenn Abelard gets the Lamborghini past Quentin Clumpert, they go through into the SS Voices for the first time. Reyes gets the jump on everybody. Everyone's trying to make it safely through, 2 wide. At the moment, Quentin Clumpert still holding on to the lead ahead of Scotty Kostrick for the AM classification, but Michael Gray is keeping George Reyes very, very honest as they go into Ese de Lago, now into Jorquilla, right at the top part of the circuit. It's a very deceptive complex here, but you get these wonderful stadium-like views, grandstand-like views here at Mexico City. And now into the S's for the first time. The Ferrari is starting to stretch its legs in front of the Mercedes and Michael Gray. And now we head down into the, very shortly, into the Recta del Ovalo and then Forosol before we complete the opening lap. But Michael Gray in that naturally aspirated Mercedes is starting to pull closer and closer. We ride on board with a man from Full Tilt Motorsport into the stadium section. At Forosol we go into the double left-hander. Not only does this circuit provide great action for Formula 1, but also Formula E. Out of the final quarter, and lap 1 in the books. George Reyes leads the way, and Michael Gray chasing him down as we go onto the start-finish straight for the second time of asking.
Yeah, great run out from Reyes there as well. Led for the opening lap. Gray's not letting him get away though. White's 1.3 back with Berry and Young in behind that with Harry Hartley-Price. And you got Baz Cutting and Corish on 7th and 8th, battling away nicely further down the order here currently at the moment with the Quinton Clumpert, Glenn Ablard, Scotty Kostrick in the AM fight. You can see them guys going almost 3 wide in the background. And at the moment, Glenn Ablard is on the inside. No. Scotty Kostrick makes him through, but him and Quinton Clumpert side by side on the exit.
Yeah, they've got Harry 7 closing in on them very, very quickly indeed. Scotty Kostrick takes the lead in AM here on lap number 2 as they've got the left-hander coming up. Kostrick will have the inside line. Ablard looking up the inside of 7. Ukic not too far behind them either in the Code 3 racing entry. And now it is the case of can Scotty Kostrick pull away from the 5.4 litre naturally aspirated pony car, the Mustang of the Flying Dutchman, Quinton Clumpert, and already the McLaren is at least 4 car lengths ahead. But now Mark Wesley battling away with the likes of Sindre Johansson. Good to see Sindre getting 2 podiums, 2 P3s in the last 2 races. So hopefully the Norwegian has a better run of luck this time and maybe is able to go for the W. Riding on board with the number 88 of Mark Wesley in the McLaren 720S GT3 Evo. Hard on the brakes. And this is getting very, very close indeed.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought they might have sort of had some form of palaver by now, but we've got Wesley, Johansson, Jukic, Ablard, 7, Clumpert, Kostrick, all not very far apart either. Oh, no, dude, that's a bit wide. You need to go a little bit slower there, Mark, and that opened Tim Cullymore straight through on the inside. One mistake from Mark Wesley. Tim Cullymore goes through there. Harry, I just figured out who you are. Yes, you are only about 14, so, you know, ease up on the wives and girlfriends. You just have to ask your mother for a new wheel instead.
Meantime, Harry 7 diving to the inside at turn 1 gets through on Quinton Clumpert. So Clumpert did get the pole position in the AM category, but the Aston Martin of Harry 7 from Turbocharged Sports runs wide, running in the Roxy kind of livery that he's managed to adapt onto that Aston Martin. That actually doesn't look half bad.
No, it doesn't, to be honest. It's missing the bottom teeth, isn't it? Doesn't he have top and bottom teeth, or is that... No.
Well, yeah, you got Rexy, which is the green one. Roxy is pink. There are some teeth there, but the problem is that how big that boat race is on that Aston Martin. But still, it's actually quite an inspired try to modify that to an Aston Martin. But Quinton Clumpert looking to try this way, try that way to get through. He nearly gets attacked from behind. Glenn Ablard spins! Glenn Ablard spins! He touched the back of Quinton Clumpert, and there's Baz Cutting. Marooned on the side of the road as they came into the stadium section.
There's a couple that have had dramas here, Alex. Sorry, Sean Clark has had one, but then again, if you're going to ride a curb like that, you're going to unsettle that car straight away. And unfortunately for Sean, he makes his quick almost entry into pit lane. Here is what happened to Baz. Again, running curbs as much as possible. Over he goes, slides off the curb, bang into the wall, and around he goes. Now, Ablard, I think, is just basically, he just got a little bit too close to Clumpert in front, and he's overhit the brakes. And as he's overhit the brakes, he's unfortunately dragged them round, and he's done a nice little pirouette on the infield there as well. So unfortunately, a couple of bad mistakes from some of them. Sam Berry's got to slow down, and now we've got Hayden Young having to go with Harry Hartley-Price.
This is the battle for P5, and at the moment it would mean that Sam Berry might more than likely take the lead in the championship standings in the pro side of things. Both he and Harry Hartley-Price tied on 127 points. Yeah, sideways games. Rexy green, Roxy pink, Spike is Well, welcome back, everybody. Thank you very much for your patience with regards to what's just happened. Of course, this is a new track for everybody, but we are back underway. 47 minutes and 45 seconds left on the timer here at the Autódromo Hermanos Rodríguez for round 6 out of 8. In the meantime, George Reyes still leading the way. He's about 1.5 seconds up the road from Michael Gray, Andy White, Sam Berry, Harry Hartley-Price. Then we got Hayden Young and Craig Corrish running at the top 7 overall for pro class, but Scotty Kostrick still holding on to that race lead. And now he's a second ahead of Harry 7. Quentin Klumpert in the Mustang, the Flying Dutchman, rounds out the top 10, and also, more importantly, the top 3. Sideways Games, yeah, you're not a pro like me, sorry, mate. I have to do the full thing, though, don't I, JP? It's just how I am.
Yeah, most people just say Mexico, but you know, that's the way. That's what it is. I'm going to presume that says JP to say that. No.
No. I think Harry just said just about to say that. So Sideways Games is a bit quicker on the keyboard than Harry tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll just go for Mexico City. It's fine. No dramas whatsoever. Not entirely sure what happened to my PC. Just went black, so that was nice. James Vardigan is having a right little ding-dong with James Moore. Further down in 9th and 10th here. And it looks like we're going to have a very interesting battle up front. Michael Gray, however, sitting 1.6 second back from Reyes. Hayden Young has not left Harry Hartley-Price alone, and they're still continuing on.
Yeah, these two seem to be pretty much attached like Velcro at the moment, but they've got to be very, very careful because they have got a certain Mr. Craig Corrish not that far behind them. He's 1.1 seconds off. I mean, as we know, the Porsche always hasn't been the strongest car in a straight line, but yeah, I mean, it looks like Hayden Young's really got a good run in that McLaren at the moment, but you know, the Aston really started showing its strength last time out at the 90-minute Giro at Le Mans, as we've got we've got a very, very close battle a little bit further up with involving Sam Berry.
I think that actually is a back marker. I think he has actually just cleared.
That's Sean Clark.
Yeah, Sean Clark, the back marker at the moment. Hayden Young still fighting out with Harry Hartley-Price here. So we'll find out how these guys get on as well, because it's going to be a very interesting situation. Of course, it's just ironic. We were talking about drivers having technical issues, and the blinking broadcaster has one. So there we go, as we're sitting on our screen at the moment in time as well. And that is Paul West, who's having a nice little battle with Raymond Van Zutphen and Baz Cutting. Paul in a very patriotic Union Jack liveried McLaren.
Oh, that's very, very prominent, that livery there on Mr. West's car, but it does look very, very nice indeed in the number 33 McLaren. This is the battle for 19th, 20. Well, it's the battle for 20th, 21st, and 22nd. Jeremy Jukic in the Aston Martin has dropped a couple of places in the meantime, so he's still getting to grips with the car that he's changed into. Let's not forget that the man from Code 3 Racing, when he first made his debut in the series, was driving the good old Acura.
Might have been worth staying in that, unfortunately, for Jeremy Jukic. Does look like he swapped over to Clarkson James Motorsport there, but if that is the case, he needs to change his details because at the moment he's still got him on Code 3, but it does look like Bowen livery. He swapped over to Clarkson James there in the Aston Martin. Mark Wesley is having a nice little battle with Chris Haynes and Joel Loudon, so those guys are continuing to scrap it out here as well. So nice little battles with Glenn Ablard trying to make his way back through after we saw him have that incident, of course.
Yeah, behind a certain Quentin Klumpert, and the Lamborghini having the brakes hit a little bit too hard. He's going to dive to the inside of Mark Wesley here in the 88 McLaren. Keeps it pinned to the outside and manages to just about keep two wheels in on track limits. Whereas Quentin Klumpert, who is ahead of Harry 7, has just got a slowdown penalty. and is 8/10 ahead of the Aston Martin from Turbocharged Sports. Harry said he couldn't find any popcorn. With
sad
big
times.
crying emoji face.
Oh, Harry, never mind, mate. Should have asked Mum. Go and get you some. As Glenn Ablard just clears Mark Wesley. And that's a pro and an swapping places there. Of course, Ablard is the pro, represented by the yellow, and Mark Wesley is the represented by the teal or turquoise or whatever colour you want to call it. As Harry Hartley-Price cannot get rid of Hayden Young at the moment.
Yeah, that is definitely one of the, if not the closest battle on the tracks. Harry 7 has just jumped into the pits. Now, because of this track being quite new, I would say that track limit penalties are going to be a lot more prevalent here, because if drivers haven't had much time to practice on this, it's more the case of, well, you're going to have to just grin and bear it. So Harry 7 has dropped all the way down to 12th position, so that looked like that was a drive-through penalty, or as you and I like to call it, the trundle of shame down the pit lane.
I wonder if that's incident points already.
That's what I'm thinking, and we're not even 20 minutes into the race.
That's a lot of he did stop. Apparently Harry 7 did stop there. So,
12 seconds.
Yeah, so maybe he didn't get his trundle of shame. He has gone and taken a pit stop, just literally a natural pit stop there as well.
Yeah, just had confirmation from race control. Connor Pink has just said Harry 7 has hit a hit on the wall, caused Quinton to move over and get a slowdown penalty as a direct result. So Harry went into repair some damage, it looks like, on that car.
Definitely does. But Glenn Ablard is having a nice little battle here with Joe Loudon. Of course, the with Chris Haynes in front of that. Ablard looking to go up the inside, and Loudon says no, not this time. You cannot go through. You're going to have to try harder than that. Andy White and Michael Gray have just swapped places there, and I'm wondering if something's just happened to Michael Gray.
Yeah, that's going to be the big question here. He did say that the Mercedes wasn't the greatest around this circuit, and both he and Tim Cullimore are the only two drivers that have gone with the three-pointed start. Of course, Michael only making sporadic appearances. Let's have a look here. This is Andy. Okay, right, so Andy comes through the shot. What happens to...
slow down by the looks of it.
Slow down, yeah, looks like it. Slow down penalty, probably quite a big one as well, because he pulled right over to the right side of the circuit as Glenn Ablard now trying to get through on Joel Loudon. Hopefully he can use that 5.2 litre naturally aspirated V10 to some effectiveness here, but it doesn't look like it at the moment as they make their way through into the next complex of corners. Is Harry saying, I think he might, well, I don't think he meant to say crash prize, I think he meant to say cash prize.
No, there's trophies. I know some do trophies. What's Shawnee giving away? I can't remember what his one is for tonight.
I don't know.
I can't remember what the prizes are for, if there was any. Trophies again for the division winners of runners-up. So yeah, it varies from league to league, Harry. Depends on what you want to race, buddy. That's the way I'm going to put it on that one. And there's no point you hiding a message about your mum giving you a lecture that she's been at work all day and not been able to go and buy you popcorn. I'd already seen it, Harry, before you deleted it. Nice try, young sir.
Yes, nice try, but too little, too late. Ukic and Moore getting into a bit of a ding-dong battle here. Yeah, Raymond Van Zutphen's around at Forest-Sol at the stadium complex. Oh dear.
I don't think there was a touch. I think that was just more somebody might have a rock. Oh no, there wasn't a touch. I think somebody might have just had a heavy foot there.
Yeah, it was.
Did, yeah, in that Audi. Put the power down too much, and unfortunately that is what happened. Seven's coming back through the field, of course, after his pit stop. He's side by side with Paul West currently, and Harry 7 has gone through. So another one he's picked off because Paul West has not pitted.
Okay, so Harry 7 on the comeback trail. with regards to his earlier incident. And I was actually, the thing is that with regards to what Sideways Games said, Spike is in purple. Well, there was an LMP2 car called Spike, the Dragon, according to Sports Car 365, and that was the official AO racing car a little while ago. So that's where it comes from. So you had Rexy and Roxy, and then you had Spike the Dragon.
Oh, okay.
Okay, there we go. There's that point answered. I hope I'm right on that one. Sideways Games on that particular occasion. Thank God for Google.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yes, that Spike is still racing at IMSA. Oh, right. Big cloud of dust I spotted there, or it might have been brake smoke. I'm not 100% sure which. So someone had a big old moment. Okay, we're going to see it here.
Hopefully it is this one of Mark Wesley. Oh, Mark, you missed your braking point. Mark, no, didn't.
Oh.
And then jumps back to pit lane, does Mark there as well. So, yeah, incident involving 88 and 79 are being investigated. So, 88 Mark Wesley, 79 Joe Loudon. Not quite sure what they've been up to, but they've been naughty boys.
Welsh boy says, car park there, sir.
Oof, yeah, true that.
And now, here goes Baz cutting side by side with James Moore. This is going to be very, very close indeed. There is a little bit of a touch. And he gets a haymaker through no fault of his own, courtesy of
How far is that touch? Oh, minuscule. Bang.
It's like a Tyson Fury combo. Here's the jab, here's the haymaker.
Yeah, and then it's just gone off again, unfortunately for Harry. So I don't know if he might be waiting. Don't know. I think Harry might actually be broken or something. Slightly right hand down to try and keep that car straight there for Harry. Oh, yep. Harry is in dire straits of a pit stop. Another one, and he is carrying a meatball, so he is broke. Here's Harry 7 at the moment. Scotty Kostrick fighting out Quentin Klumper in the lead of the AMS.
So, the Mustang versus McLaren. Vardigans and 7 both get a slowdown. Welsh boy Twitter says, 5-second penalty given to car 88 for causing a collision. So, Mark Wesley, was found to be at fault by Connor Pink, our race director, or race control, if you will. But this is a really good battle. I mean, Quentin Klumpert, we've seen some good runs from him, but he hasn't always had the luck on his side, has he?
No. I think Quentin's had one of them seasons where he's either going to be really happy with it because he survived it, or he's going to be properly annoyed because he knows he could have done better. And I think from point of view... Hold on, there was a big old squealer in my ear roll then. Where did that come from?
Well, don't tell me Sean Clark is going to have a moment here.
Oh, so he's gone off track, but there was another one that slid and hit a wall.
Oh, okay, right. There's an incident involving car 17.
There it is.
Oh, dear.
Mark Wesley. Paul West, sorry. Paul West.
We got another incident being investigated. That was between car 17, James Moore. That would have been the incident with James Moore. I think that would have involved Baz Cutting, who's now been in the pits for nearly 2.5 minutes. And that would have also involved Harry 7, because as soon as Harry hit the right front of Baz's car, it broke the left front steering, which is why he was right hand down.
Yeah, agreed.
So, yeah. But we're nearly at the halfway point of this race, JP. So the main protagonist should be coming in, I would have thought, maybe in the next couple of laps or so. Maybe for their roadie pit stop here at Mexico.
Yeah, next five minutes, we'll probably see people start diving in, and we'll see how they get on. I am very impressed with Andy White, who's staying ahead of Michael Gray, 5.5 seconds away from Reyes. I don't know if that's how bad the Mercedes is at this racetrack under Michael Gray, or just how good Reyes is doing in the Ferrari. I'm not entirely sure which way round to look at it, but one way we can have a look at one thing that's going on for Mr. Craig Corrish, unfortunately, in that Porsche. He's he's already unsettled, and the Porsche says no, not tonight.
Porsche doing Porsche things, so no further action with regards to the incident involving James Moore, Baz Cutting, and Harry Seven. Harry Seven is now in the pits. Has been in the pits for over 2 minutes and 20 seconds, not including the transfer time to his stop in the pit lane. So that is now a big time loss for Harry Seven. He will lose the lead of the championship in the AM side of things, because he was, if I remember, level on points with Scotty Kostrick, who is now leading and will take a comfortable advantage in the AM side of things, because we've got Barcelona coming up next week, which is the penultimate round of the 8-round calendar.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting race running, I think. I think we sit here and we try and, as much as we'd love to predict who's going to go where, who's going to do what, and everything else. You know, we've still got Barcelona, Catalonia, and we know that racing can be either really blinking amazing or really, really bad. And then we go to Indy, which, again...
Well, we've talked about that numerous times, you and I.
Yeah, it's going to be hit or miss, but you never know. We'll see what happens.
Yep. And there's nearly a mistake there from Michael Gray. Michael Gray nearly does a Valtteri Bottas. He's having to swing that Mercedes wide to bring it through Pelotada. Andy White has got a back marker in front. That's Raymond van Zutphen, and he's getting a tow from him, so he's extending the lead over Michael Gray to now what is going to be close to 0.8 of a second. We've got just over 30 minutes remaining as Andy White goes into the SS Moises Solana, the triple chicane here at Mexico City. And here is Hayden Young again, closing in on Harry Hartley-Price. They're going down the long start-finish straights. That McLaren looks... Oh, careful, Hayden. He nearly ended up in the rear diffuser of a certain Mr. Harry Hartley-Price before going in through to turns 1 to 3.
Yeah, he's got to be a little bit careful, because there might be areas of the track he'll carry more speed, and there'll be areas of the track that the car in front under Harry Hartley-Price might carry more speed. So it's going to be one of them. You don't want to hit your brakes too hard, because if you hit him too hard and then you go and hit him harder, the car turns around and says, no, I don't like it. Please stop, and I won't spin you, but if you carry on, you're going to go round. And unfortunately, it does look like Jeremy Jukic has unfortunately had a little bit of a moment here as well.
Oh, right. Let's see. Okay, so on the sausage curbs, and he tried to accelerate.
Yeah, on the curb again, and unfortunately, well, just after that, he dived straight down pit lane, actually. So there he goes in now. So there we go, Jeremy Jukic in pit lane. Andy White still battling away with Michael Gray, and Hayden Young still having a go with Harry Hartley-Price.
Yeah, so battle for third, battle for fifth on track. Gap is less than around about 0.3 of a second between both battles, as Michael Gray using the grunt of that naturally aspirated V8 to keep up with the twin-turbo V8 Aston in front of him. They go through turns 1, 2, and now into 3. Down the other straightaway, the Recta Transfera they call it, here at Mexico. And Gray to the outside into Esa de Largo. He's going to give it a punt. And he might get the move completed, but can Andy White keep it all four wheels on the track? No, slightly outside of the track there. And Michael Gray retakes second position as we are about to hit the 28-minute mark to go.
Yeah, 28 minutes on the clock here as well. And you can see on the left-hand side, Reyes still leading the pros. Michael Gray and Andy White battle on your screen at this moment in time. Andy in third, Gray in second. In the AMs, it's Scotty Kostrick. He's still got Quinton Klumper locked up right behind him. And then they've got a big old gap to the man in third, Sindri Johansson. A great job from him there as well. Believe it or not, Tim Cullimore and Glenn Ablard are up 18 places between the two of them. So an amazing little go there from all of them. James Vardigan does look like he may have just had some drama trying to get that car into pit lane. So we'll see what happens with him.
Oh,
where are you going? Where are you going?
Where are you going? Oh, Bottas styly.
Into
that front corner in.
Yeah, straight into the wall. But Klumper decided that he's going to have a go up the inside of Scotty Kostrick. Can he make it work?
He goes to the outside. Can he get the cutback here on Scotty Kostrick? And at the moment, well, Kostrick says no. Door's firmly shut. And that nearly unsettles Quinton Klumper. Oh, bounds over the sausage curbs. Not once, but now twice. And through out of the final corner. It's been a bit of a game of two halves between these two, but Scotty Kostrick now across the line as we're now on lap 20 of this race. 26 minutes and 45 seconds to go. Michael Gray has pitted from what is second position on the road, excuse me. There comes Harry Seven out of the pit lane after over 7.5 minutes. Oh, that was some major damage that needed to be attended to there.
Yeah, absolutely. And poor old Harry Seven, he's just going to carry on for the fun of it, I think. What he doesn't want to do, I'm sure he probably won't, but he won't get in the way of anybody. But these two are still not leaving each other alone. They've still got their Velcro stuck between them. Harry is Harry Hartley-Price and Hayden Young. Non-stop action with these two.
Yep. And then also Tim Cullimore and Glenn Ablard are a tenth of a second apart. 8th and 9th in pro at the moment currently. James Moore from AMS has just pitted. So we are getting closer and closer to that window. I mean, one of the things that I've noticed here, JP, is with the main start finish straight and the back straightaway, they're quite lengthy bits of the circuit. So the drivers might be able to use that slipstreaming to the best of their advantage. As over the curbing goes Hayden Young, he dives into pit lane, thereby ending the extensive battle between him and Harry Hartley-Price, who's going to go on for another lap. So Hartley-Price has got to make this lap count. Sindri Johansson and Paul West have both got slowdown penalties. But George Reyes at the moment still leading the way, but we're going to see another replay here with our man Paul West, and that is on the sausage curve. What's going to happen here? Is there going to be a little bit of a drama for the McLaren?
I'm not quite sure what he does. I think he's trying to get out the way.
Yes.
So he stays off the side of the circuit. Fair play to Paul for that one, but that did look a little bit sketchy going in.
Yeah. We now go back on board with Glenn Ablard in the number 27 Lamborghini. Hayden Young. Hang on a second. Now, Hayden. Well, that's a long old pit stop. What's happened to Hayden?
That, depending if he's 40 seconds slower than everybody else, is going to be a speeding penalty in pit lane.
Oh, that'll be on pit lane entry then, won't it?
Mm-hmm. That'll be Hayden Young making a little bit of a boo-boo on the way in, by the looks of it.
Let's see, so...
Oh, he completely missed the line as well.
Yeah.
So it'll be an unsafe pit entry. He didn't even make the line to get that rotated, unfortunately, so he'll have a penalty holding him up on that one, and that is why that has put him down the order there, unfortunately, for Hayden Young. 1 minute 13, 51 seconds. Should have been, yeah, he's got a 40-second stop and go for being a naughty boy.
Do not pass go, do not collect £200 to go straight to jail on that one, I'm afraid. But good still to see this battle between Tim Cullimore and Glenn Ablard. And that is, I think, is that Sindri Johansson in front of them?
Yeah, it is. He's obviously chasing down Scotty Kostrick in the AMs.
Yeah. So Sindre now currently in second position. And of course, was that he was the one that channeled his inner Andreas Backerud last time out at Le Mans when we had the problem with who was it? I think Mark Wesley went around, Joel Loudon had to avoid, and Sindre Johansson just went sod it. I'm just going to fling it over the gravel, and then ends up being 1x away from having the opportunity to go for victory, and then ends up having a slow down penalty, costing him his potential inaugural win in the series. But Scotty Kostrick still running that fuel as low as he dare with 22.5 minutes to go, as we're now on lap 23.
Yeah, there's a few people that haven't pitted yet either, and we'll show you that on the left-hand side. And you can see that some have been into pit lane, and then you've got others that haven't. Now, if we overall that, you can see that only one person out of the top 10 have pitted, which means that now, obviously, I was going to say that means there's 9 more to go, right? But if you don't know that, then we're definitely in trouble. But we'll find out how these guys get on, because has the man that has pitted got clear air, which technically he has at the moment. So where is Michael Gray going to be in after all of this pit stop cycles?
Yeah, and more to the point, well, Sam Berry is ahead of Harry Hartley-Price when it comes to the standing side of things. And when you think about it, George Reyes, he's on course for 3 wins out of 3, and that will put him right at the sharp end of the table. But you did say about this last week at Le Mans, reference George Reyes, that he could be a probable threat. I mean, looking at who so far has had wins, Harry Hartley-Price has had a win, Peter Duke has had a win, Hayden Young has had a win, George Reyes, 2. So, yeah, it could be the case that George Reyes could be the rotten apple that upsets the apple cart to the end of the season. You just never know if he sticks around for Barcelona and Indy.
Yeah, if they don't start trying to stop him, he'll be on 120 points or up near them before they even know it.
Yeah, and he will be in about 21 minutes time.
Yeah, so they've got to be careful, just to make sure that they are trying to at least try and defend, not saying defend against him because they ain't been able to get near him, but at least try and stop him in some shape or form. I'm not saying go and career into him and take him out. I'm not saying that at all. But, because Reyes could get this after where everybody settles after this one. I don't think this championship is completely done yet.
No, far from it. I think we've got 2 races still to go, and that's going to be 2.5 hours of racing left, plus the qualifying, plus the respective practice sessions for each race. So 20 minutes to go. George Reyes, Andy White, Sam Berry. Now, Scotty Kostrick has just pitted from the AM lead, which will mean that Sindre Johansson will inherit it. Sindre, I think I've noticed for the last 3 races, has had a slightly different livery. He's gone black and silver this time on the Mustang for round 6.
I think it's been changing colour, isn't it, week by week?
Yeah.
So fair play to him. Maybe if he changes the livery, it's good luck. Every time he's changed the livery, he could have ended up on the podium.
Well, it's very reminiscent of because we had the Singapore Grand Prix this past weekend, and I noticed that with the race overalls for the Red Bull drivers, they had a very different look about them this weekend, just gone.
I tried to watch that last night, to be honest with you. And I find it very, very difficult to watch anything with your eyelids shut.
Especially if it's on a Sunday and you've just had the roast in that coma stage.
Yeah, well, this was very late at night, and obviously I was away and just got back and stuff like that, and I thought, I'll go up and watch the Grand Prix. I can't remember where I saw up to, and I'm not entirely sure what went on, to be honest, but yeah, recommendation, don't try and watch something with your eyelids closed, as Quinton Clumpert is having a right old go with Scotty Kostrick here.
So this is because Chris Haynes, who has not yet pitted, is Well, once again, folks, apologies for the technical difficulties. As James was saying, that it has been a bit of a tall order with this new circuit, but we are back in action with 11 minutes and 45 seconds on the timer. George Reyes still continues to lead the way, ahead of Michael Gray, Andy White, Sam Berry, Mr. Fresh Rubber still holding on to that 4th position. But he's got a bit of a gap between himself and Harry Hartley-Price. Meantime, Scotty Kostrick still toe-to-toe, wheel-to-wheel with Quentin Clumpert. And car number 8, Quentin Clumpert, has had a warning for contact with Scotty Kostrick. So Quentin Clumpert has got to watch his P's and Q's right now, as everyone would have completed their final pit stops. And here comes Clumpert. He's going to be alongside Scotty Kostrick. This is for the lead in the AM classification of this race here at Mexico City. Clumpert to the outside. He's going to run a little bit deep, goes over the curbing, unsettles the Mustang. Oh, there's contact again, and Clumpert spins!
Man of his own undoing there, unfortunately for him. That was a little bit overzealous from Quentin, and now that the suffering and pain that he's having to deal with there, Alex, I think he needed to be a little bit more patient than what he was, and has now just lost that time.
Yeah, he could have possibly waited until coming out of Penaltada and then tried to keep with Scotty Kostrick coming down the main start-finish straight. But still, there is one other battle that we got. James Vardigan's down in 17th overall, and that is for that is basically going to be for 9th in the AM. Well, 8th in the AMs. He's battling away with the 88 and Mark Wesley. So this is another battle that is getting a bit too close for comfort, I think.
Yeah, I think this is one of the closest battles on the racetrack, apart from Raymond Van Zutphen and Baz Cutting. Both men have had their own little dramas this evening, and now they're going to be carrying on a little bit more here. So we're going to find out what goes on. Vardigan's, of course, returning from illness. Mark Wesley just about to go up the inside and show Vardigan's what he's missed from last week.
Yeah, Vardigan's has been on sick leave for the last 2 rounds, so he's trying to get back into the swing of things. It's never that easy when you've been away. Second warning for car number 8. So that's going to be the 3-strike rule. If he did it again, then that would have been a definitive 5-second penalty, at least, depending on how severe race control would deem it. So it is the 3rd strike rule. So if he does get close, he's 2.7 seconds behind, but he's lost all that time. Scotty Kostrick at the moment here, James, with the way things stand, will then go ahead of Harry 7 in terms of the AM Championship, which Harry had been leading right up until going on hollybobs last week at Le Mans, and now has had an absolute stinker of a race, so he can't use Mexico as his drop score. He has to use Le Mans, which is a 0 anyway, because he didn't take part.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's going to be the problem, I think, for Harry. He's now going to have to... That's why I think he's also out there carrying on as best he possibly can, just in the hope that somebody might do something somewhere with somebody, have a little bit of a puff and a blow-up, and then he's got an opportunity of trying to pull laps back on. Unfortunately for him, he's a lot of laps back from people. 3, I think it's 24 laps he's done, 30 the leader's done. So he's got a lot of hoping and praying as Harry 7 there to see whether or not he can make up any place at all. But Raymond Van Zutphen and Baz Cutting having a nice little ding-dong there on screen.
Yep, Baz in that very brightly coloured Aston Martin V8 Vantage, chasing down the Audi R8 LMS GT3 Evo of Raymond Van Zutphen. Raymond also has had a difficult race to endure here at Mexico, but with 7.5 minutes to go, we are on course for, with the lap times that George Reyes is setting. He's set the fastest lap of the race as well, a 1:41.583. And at the moment, Reyes is running in the mid-42 sevens. Michael Gray running in the low 42 sixes. Andy White low 43 ones. Sam Berry 43 threes. Hartley Price 44 1. Craig Corish 43 9. I think it's just about getting these cars over the line as Baz cutting to the outside of Raymond Van Zutphen. Oh, that's a bit of a bump over
Steady,
the curve.
Baz. No.
Baz, a little bit of a touch between the pair. Baz has got a slow down penalty. He pretty much cut the first part of that complex, and he's instantly served it. But now with, what have we got, 6 minutes and 34 on the clock, I would probably say we've either got 4 or 5 laps, including this one, to take us to the checkered, because George Reyes at the moment will put himself on 120 points. So 3 races attended, 3 races won so far.
If he stays, I think there's going to be a very, very strong possibility that he's going to be up and around there. I still think there is, but yeah, we're going to have to just play this and see how these guys get on, I think.
That'll be if he wins all the remaining 2 races of the season, JP, that is 200 points. And because of the fact that he'll have only competed in 5 of the 8 races, well, he's got 3 rounds that he can pick from that he can use as a drop score, because it would be a 0 either way.
Yep, he ain't going to lose any points. What he gains now is what he'll finish with. So for him, it's now just basically trying to make sure that he can console and get all the points, and that's what he's doing at the moment. And you can't argue with him. Fair play to him. Good job.
Yeah, exactly. And when you think about it, Hayden Young, his drop score will be Red Bull Ring, and an 11th place is not going to be that big amount of points. This could hurt Hayden in trying to, well, he's been, he came out flying out of the gates at the first round at the Nürburgring and won the race, and then after that, it's sort of like been it's been a different kettle of fish for him.
Yeah.
21 points at Okayama, 21 points at... Look, the last 3 races Hayden Young has taken part in, he's scored 21 points in each race. And I see so much promise in this driver, but he hasn't either had the luck or he hasn't had the opportunity to convert it, as Baz cutting once again right on the rear end of Raymond Van Zutphen. This is for 19th overall, and it's Pro versus Am. And again, it's just, this track has really sort of been a bit of a game changer for the season, so to speak. Some are, trying to keep the car on the road, like Andy White, like Sam Berry, like Harry Hartley-Price, and others are just struggling. That's the big thing when you bring in a new track. Oh, moment there, stumble for him. And who was that in the background that just stumbled?
Ablard's had one drama.
Oh, is Glenn.
And James Moore has had another one.
And he was, right, he was the one that went off in the background. I think, yeah, sausage curbs.
And unfortunately, around he goes.
So, 3 minutes and 18 seconds still to go. George Reyes will now bring us on to the penultimate lap of the race. So, 1 minute 42.773. That is 2 laps, so we'll hit 35 laps of this. So the next time by will be the white flag lap. He's through on Sindre Johansson, who is on course to pick up his 3rd successive podium in as many races. Sindre, let's not forget, had 2 disastrous races in the opening 3. 9 points scored at Road Atlanta, 8 at the Nürburgring, 12 at Okayama, and now he's, that's going to put him that's going to put him on 119 points, which will bring him a little bit closer to the top 5. So now, when you think about it, he's got 2 single-digit rounds, and it will be the Nürburgring score that will be his drop, because it'll be the worst one out of the 7 going into the final round at Indianapolis. But George Reyes, well, we haven't seen much of him because he's been doing his own thing at the front end of the field, like we saw last time out at Le Mans when he joined us at Red Bull Ring. He decided to do a top gear from the rear challenge. and went out and won it. And now, like you rightly said, when we get to Barcelona next week, it is a case of someone or multiple individuals, they've got to, you know, that they'll now notice where he will be in the standings after this round.
Yeah.
And that is going to be quite prevalent to how the championship develops in the final 2 rounds of the season, the final quarter of the championship. And that is something that could decide who becomes our Season 8 champion. Last time out, it was Michael Gray. The season before, Harry Hartley-Price. Could George Reyes completely storm the castle and go, right, I'm going to do the last 2 rounds. Let's see how we go. And if he wins it and he ends up becoming champion, I won't be at all surprised.
Absolutely. I think that's the thing. Nothing that we would be looking at would be shocking. We said it when he first joined. If we could stay here for the season, it'll be interesting to see the fact. And we mentioned it, I think, very last week. I think we mentioned it as well about the fact that he can go out and win the championship if he stays here for the remainder of races. Well, they're going to find out he's here if he carries on.
Yeah, definitely. So we're coming down to the final 30 seconds of this race, and it's going to be nip and tuck. Glenn Avalon's gone for a 3rd spin. Glenn, it's all gone horribly wrong, I'm afraid. And now the back end of that car has got no rear wing, no downforce, no rear bumper to speak of, and also for that insult to injury gets a slowdown penalty. So 3, 2, 1, that is it. 60 minutes of Mexico are up, and it's 3, 4, 3. George Reyes out of Pelotada for the final time will take his 3rd win here at round number 6 at Mexico, and that is a maximum complement of 40 points per race, putting him at 120. Michael Gray rounds out the top 3. Sindre Johansson, 3rd successive top 3 position in a row for the Norwegian, who's gone backwards slightly across the line. Glenn Avalon crosses the line just behind him. Andy White takes P3. And Sam Berry is now going to be the new leader of the pro standings because he finishes 4th ahead of Harry Hartley-Price. Well, that's all I can say about that one for round 6 here, JP. Mexico City, it's been a test for everybody, yourself included with the broadcast side of things.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we got there in the end. We got to the checkered.
Yeah. And it's going to be Reyes with your victory. And Scotty Kostrik's going to wrap it up in the AM. So great job from him as well here. So fair play to them. And we're going to find out where this is going to leave the standings come the end of this race. And it don't take very long for Sean to get the results out. So we'll find out where they end up.
Yeah, so we're just waiting for the last few drivers. Scotty Kostrik is going to hold on. Quintin Klumpert is one place away from what would have been his inaugural victory in the AM classification. We've seen the Mustangs now start to really show their hand. Quintin Klumpert, that is his best result of the season. He finishes P2. Scotty Kostrik becomes your new AM championship leader, and that is his 3rd win of the season out of 6 rounds so far. So well done to them, and everyone now gets a chance to breathe in and exhale a big sigh of relief.
Absolutely. They've got to the end, and fair play to them. So well done to both of them, all of them that finished the race, of course. And to the poor people towards the end, Mark Ossier didn't make it. Harry Seven, drama. Sean Clark had enough drama to last a lifetime as well. So, but fair play to all the ones that did.
Right, so let's bring you up the results for round number 6 here at Mexico. So George Reyes takes the win by nearly 6.1 seconds after 35 laps ahead of Michael Gray from Full Tilt Motorsport. Andy White takes P3, Sam Berry in 4th ahead of Harry Hartley-Price, Sam Berry provisionally becomes your new Pro Championship leader heading into the penultimate round next week at Barcelona. Craig Corish rounds out the top 6. Scotty Kostrick, third win of the season in the AM class, means the 0-1 McLaren from Scotland goes to the top of the table in AMs. Quintin Clumpert takes his best result of the season. P2 rounding out the top 8. Hayden Young and Tim Cullimore round out your overall top 10. Sindri Hansen, 3 third-place finishes in as many rounds, puts him north of the 100-point mark. That's 119 points for the Norwegian after this race here at Mexico. Glenn Abelard, Chris Haynes, Joel Loudon, Jeremy Jukic, James Vardigans, Raymond Van Zutphen, and Baz Cutting round out your top 18. Mark Wesley and James Moore round out the top 20. Paul West and Sean Clark round out the top 22. Harry 7, 5 laps down, but still brought the turbocharged Sports 123 Aston Martin across the line. And unfortunately, Mark Ozier unable to take to the start, did not even set a lap qualifying. Right, there we go. So let's bring in our first interviewee of the evening, and it is the man that finished third overall, Andy White from Clark St. James. Andy, good evening.
Evening, gents. How you doing?
Not too bad, not too bad. Pretty good results. But also good to see some battling between you and an old rival, Mr. Michael Gray, making a one-off return again.
Yeah, I mean, the two guys at the front, Michael and George, they had some serious pace. I was just happy to stay with them for the first 20 minutes, half an hourish. And then Michael got a slow down, I believe. So I managed to nip through. And then in my head, I was just thinking at the time, let's not make it easy for him, otherwise JP will be moaning. So I'll try and defend him off a little bit and see what we can do. But he had too much pace anyway.
Mate, I was fighting my own fires this evening. My PC went off twice during the broadcast. It was an absolute catastrophe. So you could have done whatever you wanted to tonight, Andy, and I probably might not have noticed.
Oh, it's typical, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely, dude. Definitely is.
But still, a welcome haul of points. That gets you closer to the sharper end of the pro battle for the Season 8 title, of course. I think there's one thing that we need to talk about, and it is our race winner. George Reyes has come in 3 rounds ago and has won 3 races. It's going to be an interesting one over the next 2 rounds if he keeps on putting in the form that he has, isn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think he'll be untouchable if it carries on the way he is. I mean, you saw it tonight. He gapped Michael Gray, which is crazy. You know,
And
that
Michael
guy's
Gray's
coming.
yeah, Michael's not an easy one to gap either.
No, I mean, he started at the back of 1 races, so it was an incredible drive from George, to be fair.
I asked this question of Harry Hartley-Price last time at Le Mans, but you guys at Clark St. James really have started to get a really good handle on this Aston Martin. It's really started to come up trumps a little bit more, hasn't it?
Yeah, we're getting used to it a bit more now, but we are putting, well, myself personally, I am putting quite a lot of practice time into it at the moment to try and get up there with these boys. And in this race, it's really shown. I was unlucky last week with the slowdown, but then that just got in my head, and I was just fuming, to be honest. So I just parked the car up before I lost it completely. But we had good pace there at Le Mans, and obviously it wasn't to be there. So it was quite good to have a good race this week and actually be back in the booth for, I think, probably the first time this season, towards the end of the season.
Yeah, let's just have a look at your previous results. Yeah, I mean, you had a third place at Road Atlanta. That's been your yes, you've basically tied with that here at Mexico City. But I mean, Andy, a stellar job by you today, mate, in the 86 Aston. Well done tonight. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Shout out to the missus and the kids. I know they're watching the broadcast. Shout out to all the lads at Clark St. James. A special shout out to Scott McFall, all the stuff he does in the background for us. And a shout out to you guys for a great broadcast.
Well,
Brilliant.
with
Andy,
pauses tonight, Andy, I do apologise.
It's all good, mate.
brilliant. Andy, congrats on the third place in the pro class. We'll see you next week for the penultimate round at Barcelona, buddy. Well done tonight.
See you next week, guys. Thank you.
So a big thank you there to Andy White, and for the third time in a row, our version of Andreas Backer and Sindre Johansson joins us back in the booth. Sindre, another third place finish. Man, you're on a roll at the moment, aren't you?
Yeah, I think this was a close one. I was really struggling with the first fight in the first couple of rounds, and yeah, that I had that feeling with me the whole race. So it was kind of sketchy, but yeah, this was a fun one.
Right, livery question. I think for the last 3 rounds, you have had a slightly different livery on that Mustang. What's the inspiration behind this week's one?
No, I just wanted to test something out, and yeah, just threw something together with some PNG files I found on free on the with a quick Google search, and yeah, the moose is coming from the GT4 Mustang livery, which is called Mustang, I think. So I thought it was a bit funny.
Well, I mean, it doesn't look half bad, to be completely honest with you. But you must be really, really happy now that, I mean, obviously after a difficult start to the season, single points scored in the opening, in 2 of the opening 3 rounds. Of course, Nürburgring and Road Atlanta, 2 rounds that you really want to forget. But this puts you on 119 points and brings you a little bit closer to that top 5 once we get the new scores in from Sean Clark. But you must be feeling pretty happy that you've now put a consistent run of performances to be a top 3 fighter in the AM standings at the moment.
Yeah, it's I started out. Yeah, it was. This is a kind of a new thing. I've only driven the official series like on random before, so doing this a little more like it's a more professional setup. I not no, we're not professionals, but this yeah, the first couple of rounds, my first thought was to not hit anyone and not like be an obstruction for everyone else. And a couple of last rounds, I'm more focused on my own race and preparing a bit more, maybe. And yeah, it seems to work out.
Well done tonight. 3 third-place finishes in a row. Can you hopefully maybe go one better at Barcelona next week?
Yeah, let's see. I'm crossing my fingers.
Indeed. Well, Sindre, it's been a pleasure speaking to you once again here in the booth in the post-race interview show. Anyone you'd like to thank before we let you go tonight?
Yeah, Sam's last. My girlfriend who's looking after the dog, and while I'm sitting here, and for Sean and you guys for setting up really nice Monday evenings.
Brilliant. Sindre, we look forward to seeing you back in action next week in the penultimate round at Barcelona. Well done tonight.
Yeah, good night.
Okay, George Reyes, 3 times a race winner. Welcome back into the booth. You had kind of your own race there, George, didn't you? That's the maximum haul of 120 points on the 3 races you've taken part in so far. So, firstly, congratulations on the victory here at Mexico.
Thank you so much. I was really scared when I saw Gray. I was like, oh wait, he came here. I didn't even practice that much, and I was really surprised. I was like sweating a bit.
Well, it's good to know that you felt a little bit under pressure, but still, you went on to win by just over 6.1 seconds at the end of the race. How was the Ferrari handling? I mean, this is a new circuit for everybody. What was it like in the Ferrari?
Very slippery. I think every car is very slippery, but I think the Ferrari tends to be very weak on the throttle. You have to be very gentle on it. So I probably struggle in that part, but I don't know. I didn't use any other cars. I don't know.
No, I mean, I've got a question for you, George. and it's quite a simple one. It's a yes or no answer. Are you with us for the remainder of the season?
I think I have a chance. So yeah, I think I'll be here around.
Good stuff. Well, listen, congratulations on the win tonight, George, and we look forward to seeing you next week at the penultimate round at Barcelona. So well done tonight on the victory. Anyone you'd like to thank?
I guess my team, W2W. Yeah, you've been it been with me for pretty much 10 years from the very start of my iRacing career. So yeah, they helped me everything.
Well done tonight, George. Congratulations on the victory, and we look forward to seeing you next week at Barcelona.
Thank you very much. See you then.
Okay, JP, update on championship standings. They've just come through. Scotty Kostrick now leads by 32 points ahead of Harry 7. The defending AM champion James Moore now on 135. Joel Loudon, 4th on 134. Mark Wesley on 131. Then we go to pros. Sam Berry leads on 157. Harry Hartley-Price 154. Andy White now 3rd on 135, with Hayden Young, Craig Corish, George Reyes on 124, 123 and 120. Things are ramping up ahead of Barcelona next week, wouldn't you say?
They definitely are, mate. Definitely are. Stay tuned. It's going to be an interesting one.
Well, folks, thank you so much for bearing with us here on the JP Broadcasting Network through the technical difficulties that we've been having with the live stream. And thank you for your patience as always. But we now conclude our broadcast here for round 6 of season 8 here at Mexico City. Next week, we go back to a usual haunt for GT3, the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya, aka Spain, for round 7. Who is going to be top of the table leading into the final round at Indianapolis in 2 weeks' time? Join myself, Alex Goldschmidt, and James Parfitt right here, same place, same time, next week in 7 days, and we'll find out along with you. Thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, race hard, race fair, and if in doubt, well, you better go flat out. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Good night for now.